أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ramadan with Zidane. Today is the 12th of Ramadan and hope your Ramadan is being healthy, wealthy and wise, and everybody is going in the race to get the most rahmas and barakas out of this blessed month. We are starting a new surah today. It is the 20th surah of the Quran. It is in Juz Man Khalaqa, which is the 20th juz of the Quran, and it has 88 verses. It is Surah Qasas. It is a Makki surah. Now, Surah Qasas means story. We were talking in Surah Namal about the three themes of surahs. There is first Taskin bi ala illa, Taskin bi ayyamillah, which is Amba Rusul, and then we have none other than Qasasul Anbiya. Now, most shining example of Taskin bi ala illa, Surah Rahman, Surah Nahl. Then we have Taskin bi then Amba Rusul, which is Surah Shuara, Surah Safat. Now we have Surah Qasas. Now the three most important examples: Surah Yusuf, whole story, and then after that we have Surah Taha. So it is the story of Musa alayhi salam in that one too, and Surah Qasas. Now, important thing to note is that in Surah Taha, most of the things are just like what is in Surah Qasas. Inshallah, when we are gonna start Surah Taha, it's the same things we're gonna see. But for now, what we have to see is that most of the things are going to be same, but there are some added things in this. There are only three surahs in the Quran that go into detail in Musa alayhi salam's story. First of all, it is Surah Taha. Then there is Surah Shuara, which we've already read. You can go and check part 1 to 7 for whole detail of Surah Shuara. And then Surah Qasas, most of its surah, about 50% of the surah is about Musa alayhi salam. So now we are going to start this surah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Tasin Mim. Tasin Mim, huruf muqatti'at. Nobody knows their meanings but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, just to give another briefing, there are, just like because the previous surah, Surah Shuara and Surah Nahl also started with it, there are two main interpretations, but the most important interpretation is that it is said to the believer, the disbelievers, that you can see that this Quran, it also has the letters of the Arabic language which you speak. But even then you don't listen to it. You don't take heed of it. And this is why it has been shown that all of these huruf muqattiyat, ayn, sin, qaf, ta, sin, mim, taha, all of these huruf muqattiyat. Okay, now let's go ahead. Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. This is the verses of a manifest book. Natlu alayka min nabai Musa wa fir'auna bil haqqi liqawmi yu'minun. Now, see the similarities with Surah Yusuf. First of all, in Surah Yusuf, I'm just saying about Surah Yusuf. Alif Lam Ra. Then over here, Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. About the same in Surah Yusuf. Then after that, Natlu alayka min nabai Musa wa fir'auna bil haqqi liqawmi yu'minun over here. Then over there, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما وحينا إليك, and we are going to tell you one of the best stories of the stories. So first over here, نتلو عليك من نبأ موسى, we tell you the story of Musa and Fir'aun بالحق لقوم يؤمنون, to those people who believe. إن فرعون علا في الأرض وجعل أهلها شيعا يستضعف طائفة منهم يذبح أبناءهم ويستحيي نساءهم إنه كان من المفسدين. Indeed, Fir'aun was a tyrant in the land. He made sects of different nations, and one nation he made them overpowered upon another nation, and he killed one nations, the one which were weaker, he killed them nations' sons and let their daughters live. This we've already talked about we have talked about it in another surah, that لما جاء فرعون بالحق فلما جاءهم الحق من عندنا قالوا اقتلوا أبناء الذين آمنوا واستحيوا نساءهم وما كيد الكافرين إلا في ضلال. This is in Surah Ghafir. So we have talked about this. You can go and check in Ramadan with them 2021. Same thing now. Fir'aun, he saw about this. Why did he start doing this? Why did he kill the nation's sons and let their daughters live? Now there are not any explanation in the Quran that is given why it has happened, nor in the Torah, and Torah doesn't have it. But there is something in the Talmud which is about this. Two interpretations. One, Fir'aun, he had a dream that there will be from this nation a child that will be born that is going to overthrow him. And this is why he did this. He made this command. Second was, you might remember, I have actually talked about this before, that there was this nation before Fir'aun, before the Copts. Now there were two big fariqain, the two big groups in Egypt. One were the Copts, who were the native, and one were Bani Israel. Now they were not native Egyptians, they were Arabs from the region of Canaan, which is the Levant. Levant is basically Lebanon, Palestine, Israel, this area. So yeah, this is how, and then after that, they migrated here, and when the Arabs they were like this non-native government, and they used to give Bani Israel the highest position. All the good lands near the Nile Delta were given to them. So then when the Coptic government came, these Copts, Egyptians, what happened was that they overthrew the Arabs and drove them out of the land. And now they started eradicating and oppressing the Bani Israel. So this is why, these are two main reasons. إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Indeed, he was from those people who are the wrongdoers. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضِعْفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. And indeed, we wanted to make those people who are weak in the land the inheritors and to make them the rulers. Now, كَذَلِكَ وَوَرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ كَذَلِكَ وَوَرَثْنَاهَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ. Surah Dukhan and another surah, I think it is Surah Naml. So these are, again, they said that they were inherited to Bani Israel. And فَمَا بَقَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنْزِلِينَ. Because, again, now I have to just explain, people think that, most people, they think that Firaun was just one person. But if you actually read history, he was not one person. There was a pharaoh. Pharaoh means a ruler in the Egyptian way. So there were different pharaohs. This particular pharaoh, Ramesses II, his name has been preserved by history. And he used to build these big pyramids. And he said, it is also said in Surah Ghafir, وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ يَا هَامَانُ ابْنِ لِي صَرْحًا لَعَلِّي أَبْلُغُ الْأَسْبَابَ السَّمَاوَاتِ فَاطَّلِعَ إِلَىٰ إِلَٰهِ مُوسَىٰ وَإِنِّي لَأَظُنُّهُ مِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ. And then I think it is in this surah that فَأَوْقِدْ لِي يَا هَامَانُ اللَّتِينِ فَاجْعَل لِي صَرْحًا لَعَلِّي أَطَّلِعُ إِلَىٰ مُوسَىٰ وَإِنِّي لَأَظُنُّهُ مِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ وَاسْتَكْبَرَ هُوَ وَجُنُودُهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَظَنُّهُمْ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا يُرْجَعُونَ. So he said, Haman was his advisor. And he said to them, build for me the pyramid so I can go to the god Musa, and I could see if he's actually true or not. So this is what they are talking about. So there were different pharaohs, and they had their advisors. Haman was the advisor of this pharaoh. And I would just like to state that there were two pharaohs in the time of Musa alayhi salam. First there was the big pharaoh, and then there was a son of this pharaoh, and he was the one when Musa alayhi salam came back from Madian, as it is said in Surah Shu'ara. There was the other pharaoh. We're going to talk about this later on. Now, وَنُمَكِّنَ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنُرِيَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا مِنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَظْهَرُونَ. And we wanted to make them established in the land and to show Fir'aun and Haman and their nation of what they used to fear. Now, I was talking about this. What they were fearing was the people who were going to overthrow them. Again, I would just like to state that Bani Israel were a lot in numbers. The population of Egypt at that time, we don't know, speculations, but we know this much, that at least 65% of the population was Bani Israel, 35% of the population were Copts. Now they feared that they have much in population, their numbers are more, we are the minority and we are the elite. And now they have Musa alayhi salam, because we go to Surah Shu'ara, you're going to find it, the miracles, and then they said, قَالَ إِنَّ هَذَا لَسَاحِرٌ أَلِيمٌ يُرِيدُ أَن يُخْرِجَكُم بِأَرْضِكُم بِسِحْرِهِ فَمَاذَا تَأْمُرُونَ. So they thought now with Musa alayhi salam, with his miracles, which they deemed as magic, and then we have the numbers, they are much more, they can overthrow us with their multitude, we are going to be driven out, and they were fearing this, and this is why they ordered this. But then what happened was that they started killing so much that their population actually started going down. So what they thought was that this is going to be mass extermination, and of course we need this lower class, that we can make them work and we want them oppressed. And I mean, you can see this is done in many big countries, like for example UAE. You can see, why are they bringing in the expats? They bring in the expats from Pakistan, from Nepal, from India, from Sri Lanka, from Philippines, so that they don't want their own rich class to work. The 11% of population is Emirati. 89% is expats, and they want them to work. So same model used over here. They wanted this labor force, they wanted this works force that consisted of Bani Israel. So they also wanted the population of Bani Israel to stay, but they also want to kill them. This is why they then devised 1 year the boys that are killed, boys that will born, they are lucky, they will not be killed. 1 year which they are born, they will gonna be killed. So Harun alayhi Islam, he was born in the year where they were ordered not to be killed, and Musa alayhi Islam, he was born in the year when they said that they're gonna kill the boys. Now we come on to the next verse. Now this story starts of how Musa alayhi Islam found his way into the palace, and this is a very important part because it is telling about faith. Then we have the other part which we're gonna do. So now let's start with the 7th verse. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ, and we told to the mother of Musa to suckle him. فَإِذَا خِفْتِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ, but when you fear that the guards are going to come to search him, فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ, then throw him in the river. وَلَا تَخَافِي, and do not be scared. وَلَا تَحْزَنِي, and do not be grieved. إِنَّا رَادُّهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَائِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, indeed we are going to send him back to you. We are going to bring him back to you, and we are going to make him from the messengers. Allah's wahi, revelation to not a prophet. Musa alayhi Islam's mother was not a prophet. Now you can see that this is not that وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمُهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا وَحْيًا أَوْ مِن وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. That is one thing, and it does not have to be only prophets have to receive the wahi. Now Musa alayhi Islam's mother was not a prophet, but she still received the wahi. Now An-Nahl, Surah Nahl, it is said in Nahl, and it is said in Surah Nahl, we revealed to the Nahl. So even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to the honeybee this impulse of honey. Go and check Surah Nahl, believe it for yourself. Then after that, again, this is this thing that strengthened Musa alayhi Islam's mother, that inna radduhu ilayki wa ja'iluhu min al-mursalin. Then faltaqatahu alu fir'auna liyakuna lahum adhuwan wa hazana. And then Fir'aun's family picked it up, and it was gonna indirectly become their own grief and their own loss. Inna fir'auna wa haman wa junudahuma kanu khati'in. And indeed Fir'aun and Haman and their hosts, they were all wrongdoers. Now, what happened after this? They realized, Fir'aun, Haman, they realized that this is an Israelite, Bani Israel. They were about to kill him, but he was saved. How was he saved? Inshallah, we're going to look at it in the next part. This has been quite a lot of food for thought, and I would like that you guys would ponder upon it, because this is one of the most important surahs and there are a lot of lessons in this. So this is why I would like to keep it short and simple. We're going to learn about it, we're going to go through this story and analyze it, so that after this, whenever you're going to recite this Quran, whenever you're going to memorize this Quran, it is going to be more important that when you know the understanding, when you have the patience to know about this, especially in such a good month, because normally it is also very good, but in the month of Rahmas and Barakas, you get double sawab, you get double reward. So I hope this is going to make us more easy in understanding the Quran, getting close to our deen, getting close to our book. So I hope everybody has had a good time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those people who are the as-sabiqun as-sabiqun. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those people who are going to enter Jannah on that day, and make us from those people who are going to cross the sirat safely. رَبَّنَا أَتْمِمْ لَنَا نُورَنَا وَاغْفِرْ لَنَا إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ رَبَّنَا لَا تَجْعَلْنَا فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَاغْفِرْ لَنَا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا رَبِّ بِمَا أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.